So here we are again. This is a different spot. This is home for the night. Very much undisturbed. All I have to do now is look around and find a wee bedroom. Oh, this is a stealthy little nook in here. Yeah, I like it. So, this is my wee stealthy home for the night. We're back to that tree and just underneath a big beech tree. Really nice. So perfect timing. There's the rain. Hope you can hear it on the microphone. I was hoping for a all-night rain event, and a few days ago the weather forecast sort of promised that, but as usual it all dried up, and it's really only promising about 2 hours this evening, but you never know your luck. There was a little robin visited me there, sitting in that tree just over there. Looked at him. Couldn't get the camera out quick enough to catch him. Don't you just love it? Unfortunately, there's some bit of agricultural machinery reversing in the background. It spoils the whole effect, but what can you do? So, it's time for a refreshing cup of tea. Rain's still on. The cook said today I was going to bring a fireback stove, but instead I brought my wee bushbacks, and that's a Took siphon, spirit burner in it. And that is a good old trusty Carinthia mess tin. I have 2 mess tins tonight, just that's the small one, and then a bigger British Army one. It really works well with the 2 mess tins, different size. The Took siphon's great. I made a wee simmer ring for it, which is it's the same as what you get on a Carinthia. That sits over there, and then when you want to snuff it, you put that on there. It's actually quite difficult to put out. It's more difficult to put out than to light. This is what it's all about for me. I love this. This is just that pot of the water hitting on the top of the tarp, and you're looking out at those leaves. The rain's hitting them and dropping down through. It's the light and the sparkling and the noise. It just doesn't get any better than this. Come on ahead, rain on, rain on. There's no fear at all for tonight because I've a really special bit of kit with me. Special shelter, something I've been looking at for a couple of years and really loved it. Very expensive, beyond sensible buying, really, you know. But I just love it, and this is its first outing in the wild. So more of that later. So cheers everyone. Here's my face. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We place this now. When I first came here I wasn't sure I would like it or not. It's a bit closed in. The other place at the hotel is very open. Oh, there's the bird starting to sing. Rain must be over. The other place is very open, but it's more popular. This place here, there's no real evidence that anybody has been camping here. There's no fire scars, there's no vandalism. Nobody's been chopping up the trees. A wee bit of evidence that people have been through. There's a mountain bike trail going down past it, but I'm away to the side. You'd have to look back to see me. It's actually not very far from the road, but it's quite inaccessible except from one direction. So as I was saying, I have got a new bit of kit here tonight, and it's been 5 weeks from I've been out, and I've had it for 3 weeks. I've tried it out in the garden. Delighted with it. It's a bivy bag, and it's quite an expensive bivy bag. It's beyond sensible buying, if you know what I mean. You know, it's one of those bits of kit that you sort of say, I really don't need to spend all this money, but I did, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. It's a state-of-the-art tactical material, and in the last video, again 5 weeks ago, it was an alt kit along, another bivy bag, a hooked bivy bag, and I really enjoyed it. I'd never tried a bivy bag before, and I got the alt kit and I loved it. And the thing about it was it was the middle of the summer. It was warm, it was dry, and you didn't have any bother with condensation or anything in it. And I'd keep the alt kit because it was only £60, and it only weighs about 800 or 900 grams. And you know, it just tucks in there, weighs nothing, and it's a super wee shelter. If there is a rainstorm, it doesn't let in. I have had it out in really, really bad weather, and it doesn't let in. Its problem would be once you get into colder weather with the condensation. But it's like every bit of kit, it has its place and it has its time. So we're just here enjoying a brew, listening to the rain. I'm loving it. We'll maybe go for a wee explore and see if we can go further up near the wall and see if we can get a phone signal and report in. We'll probably bring you back when I start cooking. Takes no time to bloom this little thing. Watch. Whooshed. Chunky chicken, Marks and Spencer. We'll blow with the bacon. My bootlaces is getting in the bacon. Alright, let's set that back. Not sure how this will work. Let's see. No stealth camping now. It's always nice when you're doing something and you forget or you make a mistake and you say, haha, here's how we can reclaim it. I never even thought of 2 mess tins on a frying pan. I'm on overboard. In you go, son. Flambe! Get a bit of light on. Lovely. This is Idaho mashed potato. I'm going to try just putting the water in this, and then putting this in, and just see how it mixes up. No idea, but I'm sure it'll be edible. It'll fill a hole. Oh, this is boiling already. Oh, it sure smells the part anyway. That's delicious. So this was bad for the night. I didn't get shown it or making any video last night because I waited till it got dark and I'd bought enough getting everything set up in the dark. Really comfortable, super night sleep. I spent nearly 12 hours in this, and it didn't seem like it. Slept like a log. So it's a Carinthia Observer Plus. I'll say more about it later. I'm just taking a wee shot here of the setup last night, and we're going to make our breakfast first. Cup of coffee, breakfast, and then maybe I'll say more about the Observer itself. Well, I think that's about as heavy a boil as I'm going to get on an open mess tin. Let's see. Now this is always the dangerous bit. Yeah, you feel like one breath of wind and everything could go on the ground. Thing is, it's wild slow. It makes great coffee. It's wild slow. I may have brought too much bacon from a wee pan, but we'll get there. This thing here is still taking forever. Well, you can see why they call them mess tins. Mess by name and mess by nature. There's bacon, there's egg, there's cheese, there's mushrooms, there's soda bread. Yeah, well, it'll be a mess where it's going. And this is still going. My problem was I took too fine a grind of coffee here today. It's freezing. Never mind. Yeah, well, I know, but having said that, look at it, it's dreadful looking. But no meal eaten in the woods is a disaster. Well, that's it. That's the end of another successful overnighter. Really enjoyed the Observer. Left nothing behind. Just that wee flattened space. Really good wee spot this here. Except for the farmer's dogs, who seem half mad. But anyway, if you've watched this far, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, this is the item I spent the night in. At the beginning of the video, it's a Carinthia Observer Plus. Just put that as a 2 litre water bottle sitting beside it, just for size. It's 40 centimetres long and 15 centimetres in diameter. And its weight, now, there's various weights for this online. This one of mine here weighs 1.66 kilograms. 1.66 kilograms. Now there's no stakes in that. It doesn't come with stakes, but it'll be handy to throw even a couple of wee shepherd crook stakes in to hold it down occasionally, because it can sort of fall over, but it doesn't need it. It's freestanding. It's advertised as a military item. It's something that's used by recon or snipers. Its name says it all. It's for those who are observing.
I first saw this a couple of years ago. A German guy had it, and it's quite big in Germany. I think there's one English video showing or doing reviews of this. It's all German, so it's quite laborious to try and research it. I saw this, as I say, 2 years ago on a German channel, and I just fell in love with this, and I said, I want one of these. Now, the big con with owning one of these is it is brutally expensive. Let's just say it's brutally expensive. If you have any ideas about buying one of these, just look online. I got it at 20% off. I bought it from a Finnish company, and had to pay import duty and stuff like that. Still saved about £200 on it, but it's expensive for what it is. But you know what, sometimes you see a bit of kit, and I'm a gear junkie. I just wanted this. Anyway, let me show you what it's like. Again, just to give you an idea of what size this is, I use a Carinthia Sabre 45 litre, and this is one of the side pockets, so you can see it fits nicely. You can zip it up, and there's plenty of room in it. So this isn't the sort of item that you need to have covered up. It's Gore-Tex, it's a bivy bag, it's, you know, the inside's on the inside, so even if you have it strapped, and it's easy to strap to your backpack. If you have it strapped to the outside, even if it gets soaking wet, it's only the outside gets wet. So here it is. It's a traditional hooped bivy. It's quite large. Again, I'll give you some sizes, but just a few shots around it. It opens here, the usual place. There's a zip here and a flap. That's the usual way to get in. There's a long zip down the side, which makes it easy to get into. So, I mean, that goes down when I'm lying in it. It goes down halfway between my knee and my ankle. So it's mid-calf, so there's plenty of room to get into it. There's also access or exit here. Again, covered by a flap with a drawstring in it. I'm not quite sure about that. I think there's a secondary use for that, but again, more of that later. The poles are identical, so you don't have, there's not a number 1 or number 2, there's not an A or a B pole, so you just lift your first pole, shove it down the first sleeve, and put the next one down the other, so there's no difficulty. So its width here is 75 centimeters along the bottom at the head end, and it's 60 centimeters high to the top of the hoops, and it is 225 centimeters long. It's rotating bands underneath to hold a sleeping mat. That's a Trichology UL80. Fitted to it there, a UL80 is about 180 centimeters long. It's 55 centimeters wide and about 10 centimeters deep. But you've also plenty of room there. There's a fist's worth. What's that? Another 4 inches width you have there. Not a whole lot in length, so you can see whatever mat you want to fit yourself. There's a wee bit more room than that, so you can probably put a 60 centimeter wide mat in, 10 centimeters thick, 180 long. As you can see, the mat doesn't go right to the bottom, but what that does, it leaves you room. So here we have a Carinthia Sabre 45 litre rucksack, and there's piles of room to stuff that down on the bottom. And I'm 5'8". I can put my feet at the bottom and reach my hand, the arm straight above my head to touch the top of it. So there's stacks of room lengthwise here. Even you're 6 foot, you're going to be able to get into this thing. It's important, I think, to notice that the rucksack goes in the bottom, because being a bivy bag, this thing needs to have shape to shed water. So I'll put the rucksack down the bottom. Right, so that's it. Your rucksack's down on the bottom. There is a wee, because of the air mat, there's a wee gutter runs down both sides, and you can't put stuff there. Both sides. There's masses of room in this thing. Masses of room. So it doesn't have the claustrophobic feel of some hooped bivvies or bivvy bags. I put my boots there, and it's a good thing because, again, because it's a bivvy bag with zips, you do need to think about shading water. That's it all buttoned down. Now you see the importance of having the bottom stuff for your rucksack and to give a bit of height, because it really does need shape to shade the rain. If rain starts sitting on it and lying on it, it won't come through the Gore-Tex. It hasn't come through the Gore-Tex. But what it does is, if it's lying on it, well, it's just not good. Puddles lying on top of your shelter. But the more important part is the storm flap over the zip. And like any hooped bivvy, like any storm flap, it needs to be in place if it's going to be effective. And to be fair and full disclosure here, I put this thing out. We're just after experiencing Storm Agnes here in Northern Ireland, and massive amounts of rain, massive amounts of wind, and it did let in, but it let in at the zip. And it let in probably because I wasn't in it, lifting it into shape. And where it let in was where the fabric had fallen down and water had blown under the flap and it had settled. So you do need, it's just the nature of it, you've got a horizontal zip and it needs to be covered with a storm flap. Does that put me off it? Not really. I was disappointed, but when you see why it happened and the nature of it, because it's a bivvy bag, it's just something you need to be aware of. I mean, you know, if you're in a tent or anything else, we know the limitations, and you have to work with those limitations. You have to put it upright. So it hasn't put me off. One thing I'm going to do, let's just lift it up. The storm flap actually is held in with popper. So you have about, what's that, about 7 centimeters there of storm flap. It's a good storm flap. But again, the zip, I guess you could say that's a kind of a waterproof zip, but it's not waterproof. I think what I'm going to do going forward, and kudos to my wife for this suggestion, she says, is there nothing you could spray it with? And I wouldn't have thought of spraying it because it's Gore-Tex, but this is fabric, so it would certainly be possible. So I think I'm going to mask out this side, mask out that side, just leave the zip visible, and put a good coating of Fab-Sil on the zip, which would certainly help if there was any more leakages or any more storms. So there's plenty of bug netting. So you have bug net in the front here, and you have a huge panel of bug net in the back. Full disclosure here again, I'm not that, again, I live in Northern Ireland. We suffer here with the Scottish midge, and when you look really closely at this, you can see the holes. Yeah, you can see the holes, and I thought those were kind of big, so I actually like an idiot voided my warranty, and I took the Carinthia bug net out and put midge netting here in the back, which took me all day sewing, but I'm glad I did it. If I do happen to be setting up somewhere where there's midges, I can open the back here and I can be confident nothing's going to get in. The bug net opens, so this is an alternative way. If you wanted to crawl in and out this way, you could do that. The other thing you can do, and I've heard said, is that you can now cook if you wanted. If it's really bad weather, you can stay in and cook out here, Yeah, how much you'd want to do that, I don't know, but yeah, well, you might. Another feature of this house is this opening here where you can have a camera lens or binoculars out through it. This is where it gets its observer name from. So I guess, you know, if you're somebody who likes to set up and creep up on wildlife to get pictures, this is an ideal bit of kit. And again, double zip on this, double zip on the outside, double zip on the bug netting. You can just leave it open, and it's military spec, so you know it doesn't have any pockets for you to put your mobile phone or your watch in, but there's plenty of room in it. Plenty of room at the head end, plenty of room down the sides. I'm not a big guy, like, but you could get two of me into this, really. What else can I say about it? Wee toggles to hold up the midge netting to keep it off your face, so you can lie with it open. The other thing you can do, you can also use it without the poles. And if you zip up this area and let it lie flat, you can actually pull those drawstrings tight to make a sort of head end for yourself. Open the flaps down and pull those drawstrings really tight, and sort of the way you would do in a sleeping bag, just to make that wee space for your face to stick out. So you can use it right the poles if you want. And if you really love your sleeping mat and you don't want to leave it outside with the slugs and the thorns and everything else, you can put it inside, because that's the beauty of this thing. There's a pile of room in this, a pile of room in it, so you can have your sleeping mat inside and it works just as well. I suppose the question is then, now that I've got it and put it outside, got a wee bit of water coming in, am I still happy with it? Yes, I am. I think the problem with the water coming in was simply setup. I think I can help that by waterproofing the zip. I can help that by being aware that, well, I think it probably wouldn't have happened if I'd been in it. If I'm in it, then you're aware of where your storm flap is. Was it expensive? Yes. I mean, there's people could watch this video and say it's madness to give that sort of money for a thing like that. Yep, but you know, this is what it is. I'm a gear junkie. Lots of us are. We like really good kit, and you take a notion for something, you want something, and you gotta have it. And there's something about a bivvy, this idea of just being able to throw your shelter down. It's up in about 3 minutes. You don't have to stake anything out. You need about 7 foot long and about 3 foot wide, and you're good to go. It's not ultra light, but it's light. And again, if the storm flap is properly adjusted and sitting up to shed water, you're 100% comfortable. I mean, there was a couple of inches rain fell that day and it didn't come in. I'm happy, yeah, I'm happy with it. So I don't know what else there is to say. 6 peg out points. Yeah, that's about it. So I'll leave it here, and if anybody comes, watches the video, which you may do if you speak English and want to buy an observer, I'm willing to answer any questions you might have in the comments below. Thanks for watching if you came this far. Bye.